morning, class, the Restoring School students with your teachers.
Good morning, Mrs. Watangas.
How are you all this morning?
We are very well, thank you. And how are you this morning?
I'm very well, just like you all. You may be seated. Now, in a previous lesson, we looked at the different food groups and food sources. If I can have Edward to give us 3 of those food groups, please. Edward, there are 5 food groups, so if you can give us the first 3. And Gail, the next 2. Okay. Staple, protein, and vegetables. Gail, if you can give us the last 2.
High energy and fruits and vegetables.
Okay, high energy and fruits. So those are the 5 food groups, and every food that we eat, they all belong to each of those food groups. Now, we also looked at what food is, and there are 2 main definitions that we looked at yesterday in the previous lesson. And if I can have Violet to, Violet, if you can give us both of them. What are foods, or what is food?
Anything that is eaten, 1, so that the body can live, and 2, to satisfy our.
Very good, thank you. Now, in the definition for nutrition, we looked at the word nutrients. Nutrients. Tulanga, if you can tell us what nutrients are. What are nutrients?
Substances found in food which the body uses to carry out its functions.
Very good, thank you. Now, these nutrients, the nutrients in the foods that we eat, there are 3 main functions. 3 main functions that these nutrients do to help our body. Yes, Shane? Good. Growth, okay, so these are the 3 main functions of nutrients that we get from every food that we eat. Okay, our lesson today, we will be looking at nutrients and their functions. Okay, nutrients and their functions. Now, we already know what nutrients are. Nutrients are substances in food, and these nutrients help us, especially in the 3 main functions, which are growth, energy, and protection. But within these 3 main functions, there are other functions or other work that these nutrients do in our body to help us to live. Now, in our previous lesson with the guest speakers, you also had a look at the different nutrients in the body. Okay, and if I can have William to give us 3 of those nutrients. 3 of those nutrients.
Carbohydrates, vitamins, and minerals.
Okay. Carbohydrates, vitamins, and minerals. there are about 6 nutrients. Okay, 6 nutrients. So we have the first 2, carbohydrates, vitamins, and minerals. Now, Raymond, if you can tell us the next 3, we have them there on the screen. The next 3.
Fat, protein, and water.
Fats, water, and what else?
Protein.
Let's see. What vitamins, minerals, water. How many do we have there? Carbohydrates, vitamins, fats, minerals, and water. Okay, these are the nutrients that we have in every food that we eat. Now, you may be wondering, why is water a nutrient too? Now, water is found in every food that we eat, especially fruits. A lot of fruits have a lot of water, but their water comes in, their water has sugar. Okay, this is with fruits, especially. So in the food group fruits, we get a lot of water, and water is one of the nutrients. Okay, I'd like us to have a look at which food group each of these nutrients come from. Okay, which food group contains each of these nutrients. If I can have Linda, if you can tell us with carbohydrates. Carbohydrates is a nutrient that belongs or that is contained in some foods that we get from one food group.
Staple.
Very good, staple. Okay? All the staple food that we eat contains the nutrient carbohydrates. Okay? Now, carbohydrates contains, that nutrient carbohydrates contains sugar and starch. Okay? So some of the foods that we get from the staple food group that contain carbohydrates has sugar and starch. Now we have the next one, that is vitamins. We can put vitamins and minerals together. And we can put 2 of those food groups together. There are 2 food groups that we can put together that contain these 2 nutrients. Yes, Harold? Good. Vegetables and fruits. Now, how about fats? Fats. Which foods contain the nutrient fats? Which food group? Yes, Elisa?
High energy.
Very good. High energy. High energy foods contain the nutrient fats. And we have another nutrient that is water. And I've already had it there. Water, we get a lot of it from the food group fruits. Now, how about protein? Protein, the nutrient protein. which food group does it belong to? Or which foods in which food group contains the nutrient protein?
Protein food.
Good, a protein food group. Okay, so if you have a look at what we have on the screen, on the whiteboard, these are all the nutrients that can be found in the foods that belong to each of these food groups. Once again, how many nutrients do we have, Nigel? How many nutrients are there in? How many nutrients are there found in the foods that we eat?
6.
6 nutrients. Quarry, name them quickly, please.
Fats, carbohydrates, protein, vitamins, minerals, and water.
Thank you. We're going to look at the functions of each of these nutrients in our body. Function is actually talking about the work that each of these nutrients do in our body. Firstly, we will look at fats and carbohydrates. Fats and carbohydrates are put together, or they go together as they help to do the same type of work in our body. Now we have, it says, fats are all greasy foods, carbohydrates are all sugar and starchy foods. Anybody who can tell me what you think the work of fats and carbohydrates in our body? Anyone who can tell me the work or the function of the nutrients, fats and carbohydrates in our body? Helen, do you want to try? Now, there's no need for you to copy what's there on the screen.
It helps our body to grow.
Helps the body to grow. Anybody else besides the answer Helen has given? The nutrients, fats, and carbohydrates. What's their work in our body or the function in our body? Yes, Tulanga.
It's the main source of energy.
Good, the main source of energy. Okay? It gives energy and warmth to the body. If you can have that written in your books. So fats and carbohydrates help us, give us the energy to play, to work, to run around, or to do any activity. You need to have energy food to help you to do all that. Now our next nutrient we will be looking at is going to be protein. So we have had a look at that. We will be looking at protein, the next. Anybody who can tell me what you think the work of protein foods in our body? The work of protein foods in our body. Okay, we have Hayano. What do you think protein foods help to do in our body?
It helps to build up the body.
Very good. Helps to build up the body. Now I'd like, Teresa, if you can read for us what it says about the nutrient protein. There's no need to have that copied in your books.
There are different types of tissue in different parts of our body, such as heart and skin tissue. When these tissues wear out, they are repaired by the foods we eat that contain protein.
Okay, that is the work that protein, the nutrient protein does. It does a lot of work by repairing tissues that wear out. Just like a house, now in a in the rural, urban areas like the place where we live, houses are built with materials that can last long. But in the villages, materials that are used for building houses, they wear out very quickly. And so people in the village, they had to repair. If it's the roof that is wearing out, they have to get new sago leaves, okay, to sew them up and put them or to repair the roof. Now, in the same way, the protein foods help to repair body tissues in our body. Our body tissues over the years, they wear out. And if we eat more of the protein food, it helps to repair whatever is wearing out in our body. Now, we already had Hayano. She has given us the work or the function of protein foods in our body. We have two there. If I can have Aloysia to read both of them as the class and the receiving school students get them copied, please.
Makes, maintains, and repairs body tissues, and builds the body, makes the body grow well and strong.
Very good. Now, 2, it says, builds the body. This is talking about helping to make our body grow. You find that over the years, you don't remain the same. Probably last year you were small. By the end of this year, you will be a big boy or a big girl. And that is the work of the nutrient protein. It helps to build your body, makes you to grow quickly, grow fatter each year. Now, we will have a look at the last nutrient. The other nutrients, we will be looking at that in the next lesson. So then the last nutrient that we'll be looking at in this lesson is water. Water. Now, water, as I have said earlier, comes from, a lot of it comes from fruits that you eat, and also some other sources. If I can have someone to tell me any other sources where we get water from besides fruits? Besides fruits, where else do we get water? The nutrient water. Anybody else? Okay, thank you, Ovin.
Staple food.
Pardon?
Staple food.
Okay, yeah. Some of the staple food we eat, we get water. Good. Anybody else? Yes, Aloysia again.
Vegetables.
Yeah, from vegetables. Now, so we say it's not only fruits, but every food that we eat. Every food that we eat, there is some water in each of the food that we eat. So once we eat those foods, we get water out of those food. Now, water is a large part of every cell that we have in our body. Our bodies are made up of cells, and these cells, a large part of these cells in our body is made up of water. And water is necessary for life. You and I can live without food, but we can't live without water. So water is very important. It's very necessary for you and I, for our lives. Water also maintains an even body temperature of 37 degrees Celsius. Now, that shows us that our body temperature is kept normal by the water that we have in the food that we eat every day. So that is one of the work water does. It maintains that body temperature in our body. And if I can have Nanadai to tell us the next function or work of water in our body.
Controls blood and other body fluids.
Very good. Water also, besides maintaining our body temperature at 37 degrees Celsius, it also helps to control blood and other body fluids in our body. I have that written. Now our lesson activity, groups 1 and 2, you will be doing activity 1. Okay, groups 1 and 2, you will do activity 1. 3 and 4, you will be doing activity 2. And the last 3 groups, you will do activity 3. Okay, that is to help us to save time. Once again, 1 and 2, your activity is the first one. 3 and 4, the second activity. And 5 to 7, the third activity. Okay, you can see for yourself what you are going to do. This is just reflecting back to what we have just gone through in the functions of the nutrients: water, protein, fats, and carbohydrates. Now, if I can have you to, I have the runners to get a paper. Get your answers written quickly. Get a marker. I don't know, you get this one because the others are not working. Just check them. They should make it. You are doing 2, 1, is it? Yeah. In group, discuss and list the food sources for water.
Means foods that contain water.
Yeah. Because you can have about 3, that's enough.
Foods that contain water.
Just have about 3. You just write down foods that contain water. Yeah. Have about 3 or 4. Can have somebody to present that. Okay, you can have about 3 or 4. Yours is the second one. Oh, you're already getting it done. Thank you. Yours is name 2 animal and plant protein foods. Protein, we get them from both animals and plants. So you have to name 2 animals and 2 plants. Okay, that shouldn't take long. Get it done quickly. You are doing, there are 2 types of carbohydrates. What are they? That's simple one. You already got it done. So get it, just write it down quickly. It shouldn't take you long. 5, 6, and 7, it shouldn't take you long. Your answer. If you had listened as we went through, then you should know what to have as your answers. Just have those 2 answers written. Don't write the question, you are only to write the answers. Writing question takes up time. And who is presenting? Rico. Thank you. Just have the answer. Don't write the question because writing question will take up time. Let's see yours. Sorry, these markers are all not working. Finish. Who is going to present it? Is this your own marker? Can I give it to this one to get this? Here. That's Violet. You finish and give it to Violet. Okay, group 3 and 4 finished. 2 finished. Now you are not to write the questions, you are only to have the answers written. As when you are writing questions, that takes up a lot of time. So you should only have the answers written. Okay, if I can have groups 1 and 2, please. 1 and 2, as yours is on the same, you are working on the same activity. One and 2, I'd like you to come out, those 2 who are presenting your what? Come and put your papers. So when 1 finishes, 2 you what? Okay, Ovin, you wait there. Now we have Riku and Ovin. Groups 1 and 2, they're working on, or they worked on the same activity. So we will have Riku to give their answer, or what they came up with, and Ovin after her. Yes, Riku?
Food that contains water, watermelon, pineapple, ripe mango, and orange.
Very good, thank you. Let's have Ovin with what they have.
These are the food that contain water. Number 1, watermelon. 2, coconut. 3, cacao, and 4, pineapple.
Very good, thank you. So with coconut, they are talking about group 2. With coconut, they're actually talking about the water that you can get out of the coconut itself. Thank you. So these are some of the foods that contain the nutrient water. We'll have the next 2 groups. Next 2, 3 and 4. Carol, bring yours this end so he brings this down. Wait there. Okay, we have Carol and Bobby from 3 and 4 to give us their answers to the question they worked on.
Our activity was to name 2 protein foods. 2 animal and plant protein foods, and the animals are pork and chicken. The plant is beans and peanuts.
Very good, thank you. We have Bobby. Come up here.
For animals, we have pig and chicken, and for plants, we have beans.
Good, thank you. Now, protein, we get them from both animals and plants. And that is why if you look up and see what your friends have, they have examples of protein that we get from animals and also from plants. Thank you. 3 and 4 will have 5 and 6 first and 7 later. 5 and 6. Put it over here, over here. Okay. Raymond, wait there. Wait there. Okay, Helen and Raymond from group 5 and 6 with their answers.
Okay, our answer is sugar and starch.
Sugar and starch. We have group 6.
The 2 carbohydrates are sugar and starch.
Very good, thank you. Let's have the last group. Last group. Edward, we are waiting.
There are 2 types of starchy food and there are staple food and sugar and starchy food.
Okay, thank you. So the last 3 groups, they were to write the 2 types of carbohydrates. So the 2 types of carbohydrates we have are sugar and starch. Now I'd like someone to tell me, here we say the 2 types of carbohydrates are sugar and starch. Can someone tell me what the, name me the food that gives us sugar in the nutrient carbohydrate? Can someone name me a food that gives us sugar in the nutrient carbohydrates? Sugar. Which food gives us the nutrient carbohydrate that contains sugar? Yes, Quarry wants to try. Here.
Sweet potato.
Sweet potato, good. Some of the potatoes that you eat or the cocoas that you eat are sweet. So that sweetness that's coming from the cocoa is actually sugar. Any others? Carrot?
Bread.
Come on again.
Bread.
Bread. Okay,
Bread.
bread may not be sweet, but because carrot may be having in mind that when a bread is made or other things that have to do with food that is made from flour, sometimes sugar is added. So that could be what a carrot is thinking of. Thank you, carrot. Any more? Carbohydrates that gives us the protein, what's this, sugar? Yes, Brendan.
Sugarcane.
Sugarcane, very good. A very good example of a carbohydrate food that gives us sugar is sugarcane. But every food that you eat that gives us a nutrient carbohydrates that is sweet, like example you have given cocoa, that is sweet, bread, because it's sugar, some sugar is added probably when making the bread, gives us sugar as well. Now how about starch? Food that gives us starch. Staple food that gives us a nutrient, carbohydrate, and that carbohydrate has starch as well. Violet?
Rice.
Yeah, rice. What else, Trisha?
Cocoa.
Okay, rice, cocoa, and many others, all the staple foods that you eat. Now, let's look back quickly at what we have just covered so far, functions and nutrients and their functions. If I can have Jennifer to tell us the work or the function of fats and carbohydrates. Function or work of fats and carbohydrates. And I'd like Shane to get ready to give us for protein.
Gives energy and warmth to the body.
Good, thank you. Shane for protein. And we'll have Regina to get ready for water.
Makes, maintains, and repairs the body tissues. Builds the body, and makes the body grow well and strong.
Very good, thank you. Regina, if you can give us the work of the nutrient water.
1. Maintains an even body temperature of 37 degrees. 2. Controls blood and other body fluids.
Okay, controls blood and other body fluids. And also maintains an even body temperature of how many degrees Celsius? Tassi, how many degrees Celsius? If you had listened to Regina, you should have heard her.
37 degrees Celsius.
37 degrees Celsius. Good. Now our next lesson is going to be still on nutrients and their functions. Now we know already that there are 6 nutrients. We had a look at 4 of them, and so in the next lesson we will be looking at the next 2. Now this is to the receiving school teachers. A reminder, if you had seen the previous lesson on the book that you should use to help you, to refer to, especially to gather more information on nutrients and their functions in the body. And we finish with Adrian giving us what the key phrase for our lesson is. Yes?
Nutrients.
Okay, nutrients, let's see. So we have nutrients and functions. What's another word for functions, Angeline? Another word for functions. Another simple word that we can use instead of functions.
Work.
Work, thank you. Functions or work. And with that, good morning class, the receiving school students and teachers.
Good morning, this is Watangas. And thank you for your lesson.
Receiving school teachers, here's your reference for the next lesson. Strand, substrand, outcome, topic, materials, and reference.